Now that's a cool setup right there. F-150 hauling, top-notch energy servicing, but check out the back of this thing. He's got a smoker on the back and he is already cooking some food in there. That is really cool. Last time I was out, there were wasps everywhere. Now there's few insects that truly bother me, at least around this area, but big hornets and wasps are definitely bugs that I absolutely would prefer stay away from me. So I'm gonna stop by the store, pick me up a couple cans of wasp killer. So we are back at the fifth wheel again, doing another upgrade. I told you all in the last video, or one of the last videos, that there were going to be two significant upgrades done to the fifth wheel. The first one was the RV lock, which has already been installed on the main entry door. That is a really, really cool upgrade. And the second one is going to be adding snap pads to the feet of this particular fifth wheel. So the landing gear that come with the Chaparral are your basic landing gear. They have a rectangular landing gear foot, which makes contact to the ground. I changed those out for these 9-inch Lippert feet that are on the bottom. They give you more surface area and, quite frankly, they look better. Well, since upgrading to these 9-inch feet, I'm now able to use what's called RV snap pads. So snap pads are essentially going to eliminate me having to put these little boards underneath the feet anytime we're here at the storage facility or we are out camping. Because, of course, it's not really that time consuming to do it, but it's just one extra step that you have to do and one extra thing that you have to pack in the fifth wheel. So RV snap pads are going to take away all of that. It's just going to make it much, much simpler and quicker, more convenient, less time consuming, all of those good things when setting up your fifth wheel. While I'm out here, I have already swapped out the house battery that was in this coach. So this was the Continental Marine RV dual purpose battery that came with the RV. It's actually worked out really well and I haven't had too many issues. But if you recall a video about, I don't know, 6 months ago, we had an issue where I left the house power on for a longer period of time than I would have preferred, and it drained this battery. So we recharged the battery and it's been working fine. I haven't really had any issues with it at all. However, just from precaution, you know, when you typically drain a battery completely dead, it's less likely to hold a charge as well the next time. We went ahead and swapped it out for a brand new battery, so I actually put a slightly larger battery in the coach this time than this one. This is a Group 27 and we went with a Group 31 this time around. I already did the install, but installing an RV battery is not very technical. It's simply unscrewing both negative and positive. Take your negative off first, take your positive off after that. That just avoids sparking or anything like that. Clean off your terminal ends real well, reinsert the new battery, put your terminals back on, screw them down, and you're good to go. You know, looking at the instructions on this, when it comes to installing snap pads, it's kind of a snap. You can see I have both snap pads laid out in front of me. These things are very thick. They're much thicker than I thought they would be. They're made out of recycled tires, and the main pad base is about 1 inch thick. I think it's right at 1 inch thick. Plus, you get this really nice side portion that comes up around the pad that it snaps into, along with these little drain spouts off the side, so any water that collects on your landing gear feet simply pours out of these little openings. These are really cool, very robust, and again, I'm not going to have to use any boards under the landing gear feet anymore. This is going to make setup just a little bit quicker, a little bit simpler, less things I'm going to have to carry around, and quite frankly, they're just really cool. So the instructions are pretty simple. All they simply tell you to do is line them up underneath your landing gear, lower your landing gear, and they snap into place. That's it. 3 steps. The first thing I need to do, though, because it's a fifth wheel, is I need to hitch the goose box up to the truck. And because when I installed all this, I didn't get an opportunity to show you how my little gooseneck hitch cam works. This is essentially that side angle. Lets me line up perfectly with the hitch. Just my luck, it had to start raining, but I guess one of the perks of having a covered storage spot is I'm staying dry back here. So check that out. That is how well I can back up and hitch up to my goose box by using my little side camera that I have installed right there on the side. Pretty cool, huh? And then of course I use my high mount center camera up there to line me up straight back. So it's pretty much lining up straight back and then using the camera on the side to line up to make sure you're not going too far back. Now, a lot of folks are going to say, that's cheating, why don't you do it the old-fashioned way? You don't know how to back up a trailer, you don't know how to hitch up to a gooseneck, and all these different things. But because I have a toolbox, because I have a crew cab truck, and because my truck sits so high, I don't have the ability just to look out the back window like some people might with a regular cab truck, or if they're hitching up farm equipment behind a farm truck. You know, you can simply put your arm on the passenger seat, look behind the back window, and you can see exactly where your trailer ball is. On a truck this big, you have absolutely no visibility into the bed to know exactly where your hitch ball is. No matter how many times you do this over and over and over, you're taking a risk of either backing into your trailer or the hitch making contact with something in the back of your bed. So having eyes in the back of your bed definitely help. Those two cameras make things so much quicker and more convenient, and do not regret installing that side camera one bit. So if you missed the video where I installed the Bulldog dual drive landing gear, it's essentially replacing both of the landing gear legs here with new landing gear legs that have motors on top of each, and it gives me full independent control of those legs. These come in really handy when you're at an RV park and you're trying to level the front of your unit. Oftentimes you're going to have to put blocks underneath the landing gear to do that. In this case, I can adjust each landing gear independently, and it's going to be really nice to put these snap pads on simply because it's going to give me the ability just to level it out on whatever ground I'm on without having to worry about putting blocks or rubber pads or anything underneath. So I've wiped down both of the landing gear feet, and I've placed the snap pads centered directly underneath them. All I need to do now is lower the landing gear and see how it looks. So one thing I've noticed is that this side of the landing gear is sitting up just a hair higher than that side, so I'm going to lower this one independently first. Now technically I can take the boards out underneath, and as you saw on that side, it didn't want to seat completely because the board was causing it to kind of flex down on one side, but it eventually popped on, and they're sitting absolutely the way they're supposed to. So one thing you probably noticed is on this side over here, it didn't want to seat completely because I wasn't on completely flat ground, but it still ended up popping in place. If I were to do it again, I'd take the boards out from underneath and just apply them that way. Now technically I don't need these wood boards under here anymore. The reason why I kept them here is because if you look at how gravelly it is here, I didn't want to take the chance that you might get a rock underneath one of these pads and it wouldn't seat properly because of that. So I just kept the boards on. When I lowered the fifth wheel onto them, they completely popped in place and worked the way they were supposed to. Guys, this is a really cool product, and I'm really happy that I installed these on the fifth wheel. If somebody ends up buying the fifth wheel, then they're going to get these as well because I'll leave these on. So again, the two big upgrades that I recently did were A, these snap pads, and B, the RV lock. Another two really nice upgrades to a fifth wheel that if we end up selling the fifth wheel is going to go to a deserving family. If we end up keeping it for whatever reason, then we'll have a bunch of really nice upgrades done to our own personal fifth wheel. Now again, the goal is to sell our fifth wheel. The goal is to get into a new one. But there's all sorts of circumstances that can prevent that from happening as quickly or in the fashion that we want it to. And if for some reason we end up keeping this, or maybe even renting it out or doing something with it, we'll still be very happy because we know what we've done to this fifth wheel. We know what we've invested in it. It's a really nice fifth wheel. So yeah, this was a really simple install to do. It took all of maybe 15 minutes to get everything set up, everything put in place. You know, the lengthiest part of doing all of this is just getting the truck hitched up so you can lift up the landing gear. I mean, if you brought jack stands out here, you could probably do it without needing your truck. But it's just a really simple install. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. It makes things just a little bit more convenient. It takes away just a few more minutes of setup time. And quite frankly, it's just a really clean look. They look really nice on the fifth wheel. They're going to definitely be beneficial. They're functional. They're not that expensive. I'm going to put a link to them in the description of this video so you know where to buy them. And I absolutely love this install, and I really think that they're going to work out well. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a big thumbs up, and I will talk to you again very soon.